Alright, today I'm gonna be doing biceps. I did a quick warm-up. Kinda tired. The weather is really difficult to work out during the day especially. It's hot like anything. Feels like 39 even though it's like 34, 33 outside. It was a good set. Also, today's topic that I was thinking about to just share my thoughts on is God and God consciousness, or even the fact that some believe that there is God and some are atheistic and believe that there is no God. It just happened from a Big Bang theory. So I just wanted to share a little bit of my thoughts on that. First of all, I am religious. I was born religious. My parents have been religious for, 30 years now, 30 plus years. Before that, they were atheists and they didn't believe in God, but I was brought up with the idea that of course there is God, and that's what I believe. Now, I did have many arguments with a lot of people, especially, friends and relatives who said that they don't believe that there is God. And a lot of people usually give a really simple, yet in my opinion, and in the opinion of the scriptures that I study, a foolish answer. So if we believe that, this is metal, then we should be able to see it, feel it, smell it, melt it, and etc. But God, you can't see him, you can't feel him. You can argue that, but whatever. You can't see him, you can't feel him, you can't touch him, you can't smell him. So he's not perceivable by our senses. So, it's hard to believe that he is real and he is there. So it's the main argument that people have, but I have a few counter arguments to that. Whew. Before I get into my thesis, why I believe that there is God and, it's proven and you can prove it, I've argued with many people, and one thing I did learn is that if a person doesn't want to accept it or believe in something, have that faith, there's no point of arguing with them, because God consciousness or faith in God is based, again, on faith, because we actually can't perceive him properly with these senses and everything that we have. We can't touch him, and etc. So at the end of the day, it's a matter of faith, first of all. So if a person is against believing in something, against putting his faith somewhere, so it's useless to argue with them. It's useless to argue, again, with a person who has never been, outside the little country that he is living in, whether it's India, America, or whatnot, that the world is beautiful, or that there is different places, and that there is a beach, or there are mountains, that there is a desert. Because he's never seen it, there is no belief. So that's the first thing. If you're ever arguing with someone who is against believing in something, then the argument is already useless, because he's not going to accept your point, and you won't be able to accept his point, because it probably doesn't make any sense. But yeah, we'll get into my arguments in the next on that. Okay, so the first argument is, we're not talking about God as a person yet, or giving him a form or an image yet, because different religions or philosophies believe different things. But the first thing that I think all intelligent human beings should accept is the fact that where is the origin of everything? So some say it's Big Bang theory. Some say we evolved by Darwin's theory or something else. But again, if it was something that could actually work And if an explosion could actually bring out something like this, how would it be able to maintain the universe and maintain everything that's happening? And you can say, okay, then the humans, the original humans, they figured it out scientifically. They brought out iron and rubber and metal and bricks and construction and all of that. But where did the original elements come from? Fire, water, air, ether, and land. They didn't just appear. I mean, does anything ever just appear in your life? That, it would be the same thing as me saying that, one day I wake up and food is just gonna appear in front of me. No, someone has to cook that food or prepare it, buy the vegetables, grow them, plant the seeds before that, get the seeds from somewhere. It's a whole science. Nothing just happens on its own. Otherwise, if everything just happened on its own, then, I would be really buff by now. I wouldn't have to spend all my time in the gym. So, in the same way, we have to believe that there is specific laws, and there is a person or a being, call it whatever you want, God, Allah, Jesus, doesn't matter, but there is a being that has created that and made that law book, like a computer. If someone just throws you a computer, you have no idea what that is, you don't just start figuring it out, and you can. But if you just have the law book, then you'll be able to, first of all, learn it the best way, and then you'll be able to understand everything about it. So, that's the first argument. Where did it all appear? What is the origin? And then you can say, okay, then fire was also created by science, and it's just a mix of some elements. Water is H2O, But then there is atoms, and then there is something even smaller than the atom. Where did the first atom originally come from? And, why is it, if it's an explosion that expanded it, why is there no more explosions expanding it even more? Why is our world not growing even more? So, this is the first argument that I would say. If you can answer this, if you can beat that, then, I'll take your position. But otherwise, I think you should believe that there is a higher being that has created that first. Whew. Then, the next argument that's there is, okay, if you believe and still don't want to accept the fact that, matter came from God originally, wasn't just a big explosion, and scientists didn't just figure everything out. One second, this is really heavy. Then we can speak about the body. So, scientists believe that you'll be able to at one point make a human body or an AI robot which will be able to procreate, and AI will take over the world. But now, that will never be possible, first of all, simply because of the fact that AI is a robot. It's a programmed robot which can do a lot of functions and has a lot of information, but it has no emotions, and it doesn't have the one thing that separates AI from a human being, the smartest thing possible, and etc., is the soul, which gives it that spark of the Lord or God, which makes a person, be. Because when you can say, I'm this body, or, I'm this kind of guy, or I'm this kind of girl, or I'm this, or I'm that, then it doesn't quite make sense as, so then what, excuse me, I gotta formulate it right. It doesn't quite make sense because when a person, God forbid, lives or dies, leaves his body, then all the organs are there, the brain is there, the intelligence is still there, you can, whatever, call it intelligence, but everything is still in place. But then what is that one thing that's gone that, that was holding actually that whole body, that one little battery, or, that thing that was connecting the AI to the current? What was that current? It's the soul. Because, there's no way to argue that either, because you can't see the soul, but you can understand that by, if you see a dead body, then you can see it's a dead body, and it may have all the organs, it may have the brain, it may have the heart and everything fully functionable, but for some reason, it's not working and it's not alive. It doesn't have that spark. So that spark is the soul. And where does the soul come from and where does it go? So if it comes from nowhere, it just appears like the body by procreation, and a male and a female body join together and then they make a baby. That baby is already there. As it's conceived, it already has a soul. So that's why it can grow, that's why it can be born and grow and become a human being and then have intelligence, have other things and think. It can think outside the box. It's not programmed. We are programmed, but we're not fully programmed like AI. It's not that all the information that's thrown at us, we either accept it or reject it. We also have our own freedom of choice, which differentiates us. That's a very big argument, which you can't really argue to where it comes from, because, then AI would be able to build another human being already. But that's never going to happen. Another important point is karma, or a fancy word that everybody knows as action and reaction. So when we do a certain action, we get a certain reaction, and we have certain reactions that are happening to us from actions that we have performed either in this life or in the previous life, or, So how would you argue that? If you don't believe that there are previous lives, then it's all a matter of luck. But what does luck mean? Luck just means it happened by chance. But then, who defines that chance? What, is it the universe? Is it God? If it's the universe, then what does that mean? And how does it just happen? How does luck occur somewhere and somewhere it doesn't? It doesn't make, if you think about it logically, it doesn't make any sense. So, even if you are, quote unquote, lucky, or, you won the lottery, or, something happened, still, there was a system, there were the people who defined that there's going to be this many tickets, this many sold, then, there's a number, I don't know how it actually works, but then there's a specific number and one person is going to get that. Now, calling it just chance, what does that mean? Who defines that chance? Why does it happen to that specific person and not you? Or, why does something bad happen to you and not that specific person? And there's a chain of events that happen. So, believing that it just all happens just like that because, it's supposed to, or, you have to, you have to understand that there is actually no chance. It's all, there is a specific law and there is a specific code to the universe by which everything happens. Just like a computer, you code a program. Why does a calculator work, say, one way? It doesn't, 2 plus 2, by chance, sometimes doesn't become 6. It always becomes 4, because there's a specific code that you follow. So the same thing with the universe and everything that happens. There's no chance in mathematics. There's no chance in, in any laws that are there. It's just that we don't understand the laws and we don't want to accept the fact that there is a higher authority. Therefore, we think that, this is just by chance that, this time 2 plus 2 happened to be 4. It doesn't always have to be that. So, again, that's quite a silly argument. Whew. And the last thing I would say, which, again, this is probably the most arguable, is that if you're a religious person and you believe and you have faith, then you can actually feel the presence of God. And again, this is, once again, a very arguable, thing, but I believe that there is God, and I feel His presence in my life because, it's by His mercy and by the fact that I am sometimes trying to serve Him, and He's very merciful and He wants to help me and He wants to help all of us, because He wants us not to suffer, but be eternally with Him, that He gives us opportunities, that He gives us specific lessons, that He gives us, the power, and sometimes makes us fail, sometimes makes us, succeed or win. And you can feel that, and you can say, yes, that feeling may be a lie, you may be hallucinating, you may be imagining it, but even if you take it all out of the, out of the picture and just say, okay, there is actually no God, and at the end of it, you live, pretty, you just die and then nothing, there's nothing, it's just complete black space for the rest of eternity. Still, I believe that if you're a religious person, you believe in something, your life is so much simpler, it's so much nicer, because, you believe that there's a higher power, and it's actually quite easy to function, because you know that He has a specific code, and you're working by that code, and then you get the result by that code. So it's a lot easier than trying to invent the whole wheel yourself, and know that arguing and trying to fight, and trying to fight the system. It's just always easier to work with it. So I would say that that's my final argument. Looking pretty good though. Again, God's mercy. It's not that I'm just lucky or I got some lucky genes. There's, you have to go to the gym, you have to train, there's a specific code for it, and then if all those elements lined up, then you will be able to look good. All right, peace out. I hope I didn't overburden anybody with my philosophical talk today. Have a wonderful day.